Një përshëndetje miqësardhje të gjithëve që keni ardhur sot. Me këtë publikim jashtëzakonisht të
which are ready for prosecution. The perpetrator has been identified, or in some cases finishes in June 2014. Without this, nothing is going to happen towards this, whether it's in the context of the high-level talks, in concerned about 18 years without justice. It's a very long time, and we know the whole process affects not only the survivor, but their family as well. That this process can continue and that there is some possibility in the absence of justice obviously makes the need for reparation, and I think we're very pleased that the authorities have done this. I had a meeting, collected 135 reports, and given the general underreporting rate we address and needs to be understood. And we are suggesting that, just like the law on missing persons, pension from access to war-related benefits to the Parliament, and hopefully it will pass and they will not be excluded from
sense around some of these topics that we're talking about, where they have made such promises. Perhaps most importantly, there is, however, always a but with Amnesty International. It is our job to look through the entire system, and most importantly, and this is what Sean Jones have done here, to talk to survivors themselves and really understand what it is that those women need and still require to truly have access to both those elements, so justice as well as reparation, and what is still necessary to change, therefore, even with this amazing progress. And that's what we are presenting today. Those details will go through by Sean Jones, who will give you all those elements and what we need to work on. Just to highlight a few, of course, recognition is crucial, but if you still cannot get access to healthcare and get the incredibly important psychological care and general health care that is required, of course, we still have a lot of work to do. That is one area that we really emphasize. There are still enormous issues, of course, around the question of justice. There hasn't been a single conviction for sexual violence in the war. That's a shocking statistic, right? And that will still have to be worked on very hard, and we will go through some of those specific recommendations.
In the report, we take a look at some of the key issues that Gary has mentioned, the primary issues being access to justice, access to reparation, and the continuing shadow that stigma puts over the lives of survivors. And these are the three issues around which we make recommendations, and the three issues that need still to be addressed. As we've heard, there has not been one conviction in the Kosovo courts for war-related sexual violence. There has not been one conviction in Serbia's courts for war-related sexual violence in Kosovo. There is one case currently going through the courts relating to Chushka. We will see what happens when when that trial is completed and a verdict is published. And that makes the need for justice so much more significant. We know that the tribunal convicted 4 of Serbia's and Yugoslav leaders of crimes against humanity for the sexual violence that was perpetrated here in Kosovo. So we're not looking at some minor offence, we're looking at one of the major crimes under international law. UNMIK failed to promptly register, investigate those cases. And even if the cases were not investigated, they failed to get back in touch with the survivors to tell them what the status of their case was. This isn't something unique to this particular crime. We've done a lot of work in Kosovo here on enforced disappearances and abductions that took place. And we know from the work of the Human Rights Advisory Panel that the same pattern was followed there, that there was a lack of investigation, there was a lack on following up reports. And the problems that has left, both for ULEX, who then followed in the footsteps of UNMIK, and in particular for the new prosecutors within the Special Prosecution Office of the Republic of Kosovo to actually try and bring justice to people within this situation and in dealing with this legacy will be an absolutely massive challenge.
Sot ato gëzojnë mbrojtjen ligjore. Më në fund është aprovuar dhe buxheti. Por shpresojmë që ato do të fitojnë besimin në institucionet në mënyrë që të aplikojnë. Po them, shpresojmë që do të fitojnë besimin sepse shumë herë ato kanë humbur besimin, por tani në këtë ditë rëndësishme, me zërin edhe të organizatës ndërkombëtare Amnesty International, që është një lëvizje globale, që përfaqëson mbi 7 milion njerëz mbar botën, dhe të cilët non-stop bëjnë fushat për një botë ku të drejtat e njeriut gëzohen nga